Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Ossinin's Town Hall meeting with a work session and special meeting for October 16, 2018. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please stay standing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a moment of silence for those lost from the devastating consequences of the hurricanes that have swept the Southeast, as well as for those tragically lost in the limousine accident in Schoharie, New York. Our hearts go out to all those families and friends impacted by these senseless losses. So we're going to start this evening with our work session items first. We're going to hear from Jenna Amundsen from Sustainable Westchester with more details on the recently agreed upon new contract for Westchester Power Community Choice Aggregation. Jenna, welcome.
Thank you.
Do we have a microphone for Jenna? Okay, I'm just going to figure this out.
I have a third one.
Oh, here, that's okay.
Okay.
And you know what, Sue, can you just tilt yourself so that the camera can see you and we can see you? Yeah, that does. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate the opportunity to present our new contract for 2019. The Westchester Power Program has been renegotiated, and I'll go through the steps for you. Your handouts in front of you show that the Westchester Power Program will continue to work in the same way that it has since the launch of 2016 by leveraging the power of over 100,000 account holders. We've negotiated very favorable rates and terms for the residents and small businesses in 24 communities in Westchester County, Ossining being one of them. One of the most interesting points about the program to date is the annualized savings for residential customers. We have about $119 so far. Oh, in the Con Ed territory as a whole, it's over $14 million saved. And the results of the green purchasing product is that we've avoided 339 metric tons of CO2 being emitted in the air. So that's the equivalent of more than 700 cars being removed from the road, just to give you an idea. The process for the contract negotiation was as follows. There was a 3-week period during which we issued a request for information for qualified bidders. A number of those bidders responded. There was then a 2-week period during which they were able to respond and presented their packages. Following that, on Friday, October 5th, we had a team of Sustainable Westchester staff and a few esteemed guests reviewing the packages, those being Supervisors Burdick of Bedford and Supervisor Levenberg of Ossining. Thank you very much. And Director of PACE Climate Center, Carl Rabago. It was an interesting process. After the first round was received, we asked the bidders to please sharpen their pencils and go back and see if they could do a little bit better. They did, and our current supplier, Constellation, came back with the most favorable term and rates for 2019, and that's the 24-month term beginning January 1st, 2019. The good news is that for residents, the rate stays stable. And that means that our residents will have rates lower than the Con Ed 2015 average. So one of the great pieces of news is that we're still through 2019 to 2020, we'll have rates that are lower than the 2015 average. So how many things do you know that are still at that price point after 5 years? Particularly good results for small businesses. The commercial rates have been cut by 2 cents per kilowatt hour, so we're really thrilled about that. Hopefully our small businesses on Main Street and elsewhere will be able to see some meaningful savings from that. In the new contract, the commercial green product is 7.96 cents per kilowatt hour, as opposed to 9.97 cents, so that's a huge difference. For residents, the new contract is 7.96 cents per kilowatt hour, same as the commercial, where it had been 8, so a slight reduction. Or that's the reverse, actually. The next steps for the process is that all municipalities will sign their agreements ASAP. Thank you for providing yours. Letters to residents go out in mid-November. So that will be similar to the first round of Westchester Power, where folks will receive a letter and they'll be notified about the rates, the term, and their options, whether they want to opt down or out or join the program if they want to. So that will be in mid-November. And again, the rates take effect with each account holder's first meter read date after January 1st. So whenever that account holder's meter read date is, and they receive a bill in January, they'll see the new rates. Again, those letters do go out in mid-November, and the pricing will be spelled out there. One of the interesting things is that for the green supply, the energy is backed by 100% New York State hydropower regs. So we're very happy that the supply and the dollars are remaining local. We're supporting local energy. We do encourage you to keep our phone numbers handy. So if residents call you, you can direct them to us and we'll be happy to help and stay on the phone with folks as long as they need, so we can answer their questions. And that's really what we do at Westchester Power and Sustainable Westchester. We're there for county residents to answer any questions, and we're in Mount Kisco, so we're local too.
Thanks so much, Jen. It's very exciting that the rates are actually even better than what we just had for green. Town of Austin did opt for the green, 100% green, and I think I actually did mistakenly state last week that it was wind power and it's actually hydro power, so I got a little confused. My apologies for that. We were asked to sign on early to give the Constellation Energy some belief that there were municipalities that were interested in, because I've been involved in the, with part of the negotiating team. I think Sustainable Westchester reached out to us to see if we would do that, and we did pass a resolution at our last meeting to sign the contract and provided that to Dan. The other thing that I wanted to mention, just to remind our residents, is that they're still getting a Con Edison bill.
Yes.
So all of this is going to be on your Con Edison bill. There are a couple of things that we're hoping that will be improved this year, which is that there will be less confusion in terms of what it is exactly that people are needing to opt in or opt out. Right now, nothing is going to change. You're still going to get your bill. The only thing is that the rates are locked in for another 2 years.
Right.
And again, if you choose that you don't want these rates and you want some other rates, you still have an option to go out and find other green sources of energy if you want that, or if you want to opt back into Con Ed, you can certainly do that. Or if you want to opt into a different, anything else, I think you have that option.
And just important to note too that there's no fee to go in or out of our program at any time.
And thank you for that. And we thank you for the support that you've provided to our residents to date, and we hope that we can continue this good relationship and this community choice aggregation model, which has been the first in New York State. And we believe that it's very positive because we're able to increase demand for sustainable energy generation. So thank you. Okay, thanks so much for coming in. Let me just see, this is actually a town hall meeting tonight, so if any of my colleagues have any questions, or if the public has any questions, or welcome questions from the public. But you will have to come up or bring the microphone to you, but yeah, if you could just turn around and use the microphone.
Thank you.
Is this an option available to people with solar power,
Yes.
net metering?
Mhm.
And does it also apply if you have time of use metering from Con Ed?
Use the microphone.
Would be in the here.
So we need that third microphone after all.
If you have time of use metering, then I would encourage you to remain with time of use metering.
You can't,
But otherwise, if you have just a solar panels on your roof and you'd like to be a part of the Westchester Power program, you can certainly do that.
And I will say that if you had opted out of Con Edison electricity supply before this went into effect, and you never chose to opt into Westchester Power, and you have a contract, then presumably you're still with your ESCO. You can choose to switch. Your rates may be quite a lot better, but you have to also look at what your own individual contract is with your ESCO, because there may be fees that you would incur for getting out of it before the contract is up.
Also, one of the things we do for residents, whether they're in the program or not, if you have a question about your bill, or if you have a question whether you would be a good candidate for the program, we're happy to take a look at that bill. You can email them to us, or take a photograph and send them to us, or stop in, and we'll help you through that. We'll help you understand your bill if you just don't understand it either.
And again, the website is westchesterpower.org. Is there an email address, Jenna?
Jenna, Jenna, @westchesterpower.org.
Awesome, thank you. And the phone number is 914-242-4725. I don't know if you had already said that, but I'll just go one more time in case people are interested. And you're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions? Anybody? Councilwoman? Okay. All right, well, thanks again so much for coming out tonight, and send our best to Sustainable Westchester. Okay. So, back to my notes. So next up, we invited Bill Garrison, who's the superintendent of Parks and Recreation for the Village of Ossining, but he also serves the town in the function of superintendent of recreation, as well as Keith Gordon, who has been running the ceramics program at Cedar Lane Art Center for the last year and a half, I think we're at, approximately. To come up and talk to us, we have had the Art Center open now for the year and a half, and have offered a number of options through our recreation department. And we've been looking at a couple of other ways that we might make the studio available to potters that might make it more competitive with, I guess, other programs that are a little farther north than us. So if you wouldn't mind coming on up, and I would love to hear from both of you. And also, I'm just going to say to Bill Garrison that if you would like to give us any other update about your new software, we'd love to hear about that too, because we know that you've implemented some new stuff, and happy to hear from you. So if you wanted to actually start with that, you could start with that, and then we can go into the ceramics.
okay. So on, I think the last time I was here, we talked about a new software program called Community Pass, which is going to act as our registration platform for the community, and there were some benefits of going towards it, that it was going to be a more user-friendly application, and also was going to save about 3.5% on credit card convenience fees using it online. So we implemented that August 1st, and we started registration in the middle of August. So things have been going well. We got our fall program in, and registration is going well. We've had a lot fewer problems than were anticipated. We increased the online registration nearly 30% compared to what it had been in years past. So that's been great. We've got a lot of good reviews from residents finding it easier, more convenient. We also have, if you go online, you can look at, there's calendars for all the parks and facilities and the rooms at the community center, so you can see what's available, what's going on, what the pool schedule is. It's all transparent for the public to see, which is another positive plus. So if you're looking for a park pavilion rental come summertime, and you're looking at a particular weekend, you want to know what's available, and it's a Saturday and no one's at the community center, you can go right online and look and see if that is available. And we'll have a process where you can put your application in for those permits right online as well. So that'll be coming in January 2019.
I know that one of the challenges that I was just made aware of is that right now our recreation page on the town website doesn't integrate well with that software. So I think that, and I had spoken a little bit with Maddie in our office about on that. She said it's not just a link, it's more integrated into the village website, which is why it doesn't seem like it's seamless or easy necessarily for us to make that change. So I don't know if there's somebody that we could talk to about making it easy to access from the town website as well, but we'd like to be able to do that.
Sure, yeah, it came up last night at the Recreation Advisory Board that wasn't on the town site, so we'll get that. That seems like an easy fix.
Okay, great.
So we'll get that fixed.
Okay, so we'll just, again, I don't know, we have somebody who is our webmaster, and then we're allowed to, make changes also, but it may be something that we need to get her involved with.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can test it out.
Okay, great. And then Keith, you want to talk a little bit about your proposal, and then Bill, you can talk a little bit about some of the concerns, and then we can talk about it from the board.
Thank you. So currently we have a number of art classes for adults and youth, and in the ceramics program we have 2 adult classes and a couple of children's classes taught by Kathy Carabee Paiella. In addition, on Sunday mornings we have Open Studio, which is a drop-in program. Anyone who has a rec ID can come in and work for 3 hours on Sunday morning for a flat fee of $25. Use the tools and equipment and buy the clay and pay the firing, same as the regular students do. We've been, asked by a number of people who are of various degrees of serious involvement in ceramics if they could get access beyond those 2 options of the Open Studio on Sunday and the classes on Mondays, morning and evening. And there is a model that's used in a number of other art centers like this, particularly for clay. The Hat Factory, Peekskill Clay Studios is one, Yonkers Pottery is another, Clay Art Center in Portchester is another. They all have something, you may call it different, but basically it's a membership program where ceramic artists, whether they be sculptors or potters or hand builders, pay a monthly fee, get access during the times that they want to, as long as it's not interfering with other activities such as classes that are scheduled. They use the equipment there, and they would still provide their work to me as the studio manager for firing and interact with me in terms of buying clay and so forth. So we'd be sure that they're using clay that's compatible with our kiln programs. The benefit of this, I think, is that it will make Cedar Lane Art Center more of a go-to site for people involved in ceramics in this part of the county. And we have a number of potters here that go up to either Peekskill or Portchester or White Plains for our workshop that would much prefer to stay local, not spend so much time. And when you're working in clay on anything that's substantial, there's a whole series of steps that take time. Some things you can't do immediately. You have to come back a few hours later or the next day. And for students as well, if they want to finish a sculpture, it may take several steps before it's ready to dry. And by having this membership access program, people could start, come back, the next day or middle of the night, whenever their schedule fits, and continue or finish work of a more significant scale. So I think it would benefit the residents that are interested. It might draw people from outside the town as well. And financially, I think it would assist the Arts Center in meeting expenses, because we'll be getting some regular income. The proposal is something in the range of $100 to $150 a month, depending on how much storage space the member wants to rent. So we'll have shelves designated to each person. That's their space. They can leave their tools there. They can leave their pots that are drying there until they're finished. And nobody else would use those shelves.
So just for clarification, I know you said it, but I just want to make sure. We have a separate building where all of the firing takes place.
That's correct.
So the people that would be using the studio, or that would be, looking for these memberships, wouldn't have anything to do with firing. They're only going to be dealing with the wheel, the clay, where they would the hand building area, where they're basically just dealing with clay. And the other thing I want to just clarify is that we don't have a lot of expensive or assets there at the studio. We have pottery in various stages of firing or drying, and we have wheels, and that's it, and tools, and a few sinks.
Yeah, the most expensive thing that we have, and this is what the town bought, is the digital kiln, and that's locked in the ice house, and it'll be only accessible to the studio manager. All the pots that are going to be fired either for bisque or for glaze will be put in one place. The studio manager will then take them over to the ice house, load them, fire them, and bring them back. So, and it's very similar to any other art center program like this, where the people don't usually deal with the kilns except for one person.
And I just wanted to also clarify, so as far as the vetting process to determine, so not just anybody who says, I want to be a member, I want to play with clay, yippee, let's have fun. This is for people who have, can actually work on their own. So can you talk a little bit about what the vetting process would be, what the criteria is for determining who would be able to be a member?
Certainly. I kind of doubt that we'll have many casual people willing to spend $100 a month unless they're serious about clay. We would ask them to apply and provide references and show what their experience is, and then interview them. I would do that, and if the board wants, we could maybe involve someone from the rec advisory board or someone else you want to designate to screen people, make sure that they are responsible and know their way around the studio.
Right, so you could make a recommendation, and then you could either do some sort of formal approval process, or somebody either from recreation or the town could actually do the final approval based on recommendation. Christy, is that right? Is that what we said? Made the most sense. Somebody else.
There are different ways to structure it, and I would think it's up to the board as to how much oversight you would want to have on this. You certainly would want some sort of screening process in place. We'd also talked about means of access and maybe a system where there's some way of identifying when a particular person enters or exits the building, either through a fob or a keypad or something like that, so that you have some sort of control in the event, the unlikely event that there is some sort of issue. I think there should be specific criteria, and it should be pretty objective, especially if there's a limited number of, passes or memberships that would be available, which I imagine would be based upon the capacity of the building. So it would really be up to the board as to whether you wanted to have final oversight or if you wanted to delegate that to someone on the staff, but it would really be up to your discretion.
And that was my question. We'll be utilizing a key fob system, so we know who went in the building when and for how long, so we would know who was there last if something was turned off, left on, or whatever.
So we still just need to get a price for that system. That would be important. The other thing I think would be important would be to determine how many, what will the limit be on how many members, and then if we actually were so lucky as to reach that limit in a quick fashion, that is there, you know, if people don't naturally just decide, okay, I'm done with my membership after a year or something like that, and if there's people on a waiting list, that there might be some kind of a time limit that you could then bring new people in. Is that something that, you know, we would think about? And again, I don't know if this is even realistic to think that we're going to get more than, I don't know, just say you said 10. You know, and again, that might be based on what people's schedules are and how they would utilize the art center, but it seems like that might be a number that was realistic.
Shelf space.
And it's based on shelf space, whatever, and then, you know, make a determination that, again, if we should be so lucky as to have a wait list, that we have some way to incorporate people if they were on that.
Well, I think it's good to anticipate, but as you said, it's uncertain how soon we would reach a capacity. I estimate, based on 4 sets of bookcases that were recently donated by a resident in Briarcliff, that we can easily have 4 to 10 members, depending on how much shelf space they want to rent. We could also have, in part of the proposal, was members who have no shelf space. So they would come, do their work, take it home with them, and bring it back. That would be almost unlimited in terms of capacity. And I just want to point out that another benefit of this is currently we have only a small number of students in the class. And I'm hoping this will make this more of a art destination, and we'll have more classes and more teachers besides me teaching adult clay and children's clay. But by having these other people coming in and firing their work here, it means that everybody's work gets fired more quickly. So instead of waiting several weeks to get your piece back to glaze it after this firing, you might want to, you know, a week to week, each class, there might be a faster turnover. So that makes it a more satisfactory experience for the tuition-paying students as well.
I think, you know, there's a lot of empty time at the Art Center, so this is a way to kind of utilize that time, and I think that it is an opportunity to focus on the clay, which is kind of a unique thing that the Cedar Lane Art Center offers in the town. So I think it's something that we should look to explore. I was vetted this morning. I did not get in, based upon my experience with clay.
Or lack thereof.
The lack of, it was about 40 years ago, and it didn't go well, so I can't participate, but.
So what does that mean? Like, did you actually go, you went over there and tried to throw a pot or
No,
something?
we spoke this morning.
Oh, okay.
Because I was concerned about the vetting process and kind of what that would be, and Keith really kind of assured me that, you know, anybody who had some experience would be likely accepted. Someone like myself would not be, nor would I would want to spend $100 or $150 a month to do so. So, and that if I did come to him, he has an alternative for me to come to the studio on Sunday, which is where he's there as an instructor, and I can pay the $25 and kind of test it out. And maybe I go 3 or 4 times, and then I can be re-vetted and hopefully make it back in.
All right, sounds good. And that just made me think, I can't remember, do people need to pay the rec fee? Can we determine where we are with that, or not necessarily?
So
Yeah.
I think I mean, we do it for everything else, so I think it would fall under that. They would need to get a recreation membership. So they would have to get that, and then we would set it up online so they could do their memberships online and could renew it online, so they would need to do that. We could even set up a 3-month membership, so somebody doesn't have to keep renewing it every month. However we want to do it, in any type of time increments, we can do that.
Maybe also, I mean, just as an incentive, maybe people get the first month free when they get their when they purchase their rec membership. I don't know, maybe not. Okay, it's just a thought. I don't know if it's, because I'm just looking, because a lot of times that first piece is like, people think, oh, that's prohibitively expensive. Or people are gonna like try to amortize the cost over a period of time. So I think we just need to look at, what is the current membership?
$10 for residents and
Wow.
$45 for non-residents.
You know, I was thinking of swim fees, because I pay what, $300 a year to go swimming. That's prohibitive. Yeah, no, I think that's fine. So 45 for non-residents, 10 for residents, and 10 is for townwide.
Yes,
Right.
and that's good for the year.
Okay. Or town, it's unincorporated town and village of Oxley, not townwide. I shouldn't say that, because it's not for Briar, it's still paying no, I can't remember. No? Oh, it's townwide, okay.
Briarcliff is non.
If you're non-resident, then there's a non-resident fee.
Okay. We have to talk about that. Because Briarcliff is really in the town as far as parks
So-
and stuff like that, so.
Some
It's
section,
kind
but not all of it, though, right?
Yeah, if they're in the town of Oxley, if they're in 91% of Briarcliff is in the town.
So the new community pass system, when you register, the addresses were taken from the tax rolls.
Okay,
So it will determine
Well,
what
that's
your
gonna
fee
be
is.
helpful.
that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not 100%.
Okay.
So we've come into a couple of things where somebody's shown that they are a resident and it was shown as a non-resident. And a lot of times it has to do with, on the tax roll, it was 22 Circle Drive, and it was DR that they put in on their, so it's that sensitive. But
Okay.
for the most part, it's coming up and it distinguishes what it is.
okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good feature.
All right, so we have to work on a key fob system. We probably have to accept the application and the fees. We have to add the fees probably to our town fee schedule. And then I guess we'll have to figure out how we're going to advertise and market the program. Okay, hold on.
We also may just want to come up with some sort of template, like rules of procedure and policies for the Art Center for people to sign off on, just acknowledging that they recognize if there are certain hours. I don't know if that's something that's going to be an issue or just, normal practices and policies.
Like a membership.
Yeah,
Some kind of membership.
that they would sign off on just before they had access to the center during unsupervised times. And I can obviously work with you guys on that.
And that they understand other people will have access to their work and/or things they do there.
We're already working up a fairly extensive list of practice and requirements.
Okay.
But always interested in things we haven't thought of.
All right. Sounds good? Good. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, thanks so much. Is there anybody from the public that has any questions or comments? One person there looks very excited.
My one thought, let me just speak up. Going to your point about the free month as an enticement, maybe you could structure something like, if you sign up for 6 months or 12 months, you get a discounted rate, monthly rate, or if you're going to go month to month, you do full boat. If you do,
Yeah.
so that you guys have some sort of
We're not doing this every month.
budgetary grasp
Right.
of the income stream.
That's a good idea. And Tom, you got that on that? You got that?
Perfect.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, that can be done as well.
Okay.
And it's actually, ideally,
That is a
you
great
want
idea.
your 12 people to sign up for 12 months, and then it's easy.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
See, Keith, you knew you brought Elena for a reason.
I do think we're going to have to go through a lot of tweaks as we get started. So we have to have a policy. What if somebody says, I want to suspend for 2 months because I'm going to Europe?
Mhm.
I don't want to be paying when I'm not here. So all those kind of things have to get built into them.
All those world traveler potters, that's where they get all their great ideas, right? Okay, so a couple things that still need to be worked on, and then we can, I guess, again, adopt the application or the contract for memberships and fee schedule, and maybe you two can work together and then have those recommendations come back to us, and we can accept them and we can start. Good? And of course, we've been Christy. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, thanks so much. And thanks for all the good work that's happening at the Art Center. We had a wonderful event there last weekend. Somebody rented the space for not-for-profit, and I had the opportunity to go, and I have to tell you that it was to rave reviews. Everybody really loved the space. So thanks again for coming out this evening, Mr. Garrison and Mr. Gordon.
And the open studio was last weekend.
Oh, the Open Studio was this past weekend, and again, lots of people. I don't exactly know what the turnout was, but I know that, Keith, you had
Good stuff.
40,
At least 40.
at least 40 people came, and I know that lots of people circulated into other parts of the town, as well as to all the studios and the spaces that were used by our local artists, or Austin Arts Council, I should say, because they're not necessarily local, but they're all part of the Austin Arts Council. It was a wonderful event and wonderful weekend. We had so much going on at Cedar Lane Park this past weekend. And I'm going to now go into our town hall. Is there anybody who wanted to talk about anything else before people leave? I want us to let you know this is a town hall meeting, so if there's something that you wanted to talk about, something on your mind. Okay, well, thanks for all the hard work that you were doing at the Art Center, and hopefully we can keep it up and really, with an excellent focus on ceramics, make this the place to go in this part of Westchester for ceramics. Thanks. Great, thank you guys. Okay, so let me just get back to my notes. I would like to call to order our special meeting.
Bear with me.
Okay.
Roll call, Councilwoman Shaw,
Present.
Councilwoman Feldman,
Present.
Supervisor Leavenworth.
Present.
Announcements.
Okay, so we had a very busy weekend and week, as I've already mentioned, and we've been prepping and working on so many projects in the town. Our parks are abuzz with activity. Friday afternoon, our Eagle Scout-to-be, Ryan Salyer, kicked off his Eagle Scout project to repair some of the steps at Cedar Lane Park, which had fallen into disrepair. Maybe some of you know, going from the football field up to the pavilion area, there were steps that had been first put into place by another Eagle Scout and friend of ours named Anthony Peely. Maddie Zahach happens to know Anthony, and she had the great idea to reach out to him to see if he thought that maybe there was any way to make improvements to those steps with his help, and he turned and reached out to Troop 49 to see if anyone from the Scouts would be interested in working to update his great efforts from many years ago. With the help of a generous grant from Greater Hudson Bank, recently bought by Connect One, and I was just at an introduction to the new bank executives at Connect One, Ryan and Troop 49 were well on their way. After additional fundraising, Ryan was able to purchase the supplies, and this weekend he had lots of help from the troop and was able to accomplish completing the replacement of a portion of the steps he had intended to complete, and it looks wonderful. Councilwoman Feldman was out there a few times, as was I, during their process and all their hard work. We're very thankful to Ryan and Troop 49 and all those who supported him. Personally, I'm also thankful to his sister Fallon, who gave me lots of the leftover and delicious food she had made for the troop. Expect to hear about a ribbon cutting in the not too distant future. Great job, Ryan. Also this weekend, the Forest of Ophir's guys and ghouls were busy at work prepping for what promises to be the best ever haunted hayride, with a newly added haunted house feature and a greatly expanded children's Halloween village. Get your tickets now at Forest O Fears, that's Forest O, the letter O, fears.org, to make sure you secure your spot for this, what's sure to be a fantastic event. Today, all of the chief elected officials in Westchester County were invited to hear from Con Edison, well, those in the Con Ed territory, were invited to hear from Con Edison about their response since the storms of March 2018, which took a real toll on this area. and since they were criticized by many for their less than stellar response. They had held a similar meeting a couple of months ago and then went around to individual municipalities to get specific feedback as to where we believed the slowdowns occurred or communications failed to work well, and they solicited our suggestions for improvements. They have made a number of upgrades and set goals for others or are in process of improving. These include increased training for their crews and plans to more effectively and efficiently obtain backup crews faster who can hit the ground running. Hardening efforts to improve the strength of their physical lines by lowering them on the poles, some of them. Strategies to make sure they have availability of many more bucket trucks. New software that can track crews coming from other places so they know real-time estimates of when they will arrive for training and work. A tree program targeting increased opportunities for education, and a pilot program right in town of Portland to evaluate the cost benefits of taking down compromised trees on personal property. They're working with Cornell Cooperative Extension to do that, as well as some expert arborists. Gathering lists from municipalities to identify access roads to critical facilities. They've already reached out to us on that. Upgrading their information technology, utilizing their smart metering to get more accurate information more quickly into the hands of their customers, and strengthening their municipal liaison program to give more tools to those from Con Ed who have been deployed to work with our emergency operations teams so we can all be more effective. We are hopeful that these efforts will indeed make a difference in the next major weather event or large outage, which we also hope is a long, long way away. If you haven't provided Con Edison with an email or a mobile device number, I suggest that you reach out to them to do that, because they're going to try to greatly increase their reach through texting specifically, but you can always opt into any manner of communication from them or multiple manners. So they're going to be reaching out to customers as the weeks and months proceed to get emails, cell phone numbers, and phone numbers, and find out what it is exactly that you would like, how you exactly would like to receive information from them. One of the other things they mentioned is that instead of just sending out these robocalls to areas with these general restoration information, they are going to send out information only to people who tell them that they have an outage. So it's going to be incumbent on residents to make sure that you let Con Edison know if you're out, so that you will then get information about your specific restoration time. Reminder, voter registrations were due in last Friday, October 12th, but there's still time to get your absentee ballot application in. You have until October 30th to have it postmarked, get it into the Westchester County Board of Elections by mail, but you can walk it in up until the day before the election. We do have some applications in our office, but you can also download one from the Westchester County Board of Elections website. Project Forward, the town's information gathering campaign to assess everyone's interest in options to make town government operate more efficiently, went out in the mail. A little postcard went out in the mail a couple of weeks ago to everyone in our town general, and we're hoping to get a big response to the survey seeking public opinion on these important ideas. Please do take the time to respond as soon as you can. We have set October 22nd as our deadline. Feel free to share with your friends and family who may have overlooked it, and you can find the survey online at projectforward2, that's T-O-O, .com. projectforward2.com. We have kicked off our internal meetings for the 2019 town budget and are determined to keep the budget under the tax cap. Many of you received a check in the mail recently from the state. You only get this check if your schools and municipal budgets stay within the cap. We are determined to do all we can to help our taxpayers while also continuing to provide outstanding services and facilities. It is always a balancing act, but we are doing our best to save wherever we can and only spend responsibly. We will be presenting the supervisor's budget on November 20th, but it will be available online on October 30th. Our public hearing on the budget is scheduled for November 27th, so please do take the opportunity to share with us any suggestions you may have within this time frame. Okay, now I need to go and find another document. We had a little glitches with our computers this week, and that has made it somewhat challenging. So give me one more second just to find the rest of my announcements. Okay, they are here. Last Wednesday was filled with volunteers helping out with the 4th annual Organ Donor Enrollment Day, a program in which the town has participated since 2016. The national organ shortage is an issue that I worked on in Assemblywoman Sandy Galoff's office, and I was excited to get the town and village of Ossining more involved. I think, we shared lots of statistics, and I think that that New York State is last on the list for organ donor registrants, so we really wanted to make a change in that, and I know that we've gotten about 35 people signed up this year, and we're hoping that there's a few more that'll trickle in before tomorrow when we need to send them back to Live On New York, and we're very grateful for all of the coordination and help that we received from multiple organizations, including the Transplant Support Organization, as well as New York State Senator David Carlucci, Assemblywoman Sandy Galoff, Westchester County Legislator Catherine Borgia, Ossining Public Library, Ossining School District, the Sing Sing prison was right in there with us, correctional facility, and we also had an Open Door, and I know I feel like an Ossining Children's Center also worked with us on that, so that was really wonderful coordination. We had lots of friends, including our friend Ron Kamen and his wife Linda Curtis. We heard their very touching story. Ron gave a piece of his liver to his wife Linda and saved her life, and they both have regenerated livers and are healthy and enjoying their lives together, which is just wonderful. So if you haven't already done so, you can still go on to Live On New York's website or Live On NY's website, and you can sign up online. Now, one more, please. Which one was that? Oh, that was that. Sorry, guys. That's the same thing. And I know I have more announcements. I just have to find them. Challenges of our computer systems. Okay, let's go with this. Do you guys have anything that do you want to mention anything while I look for my other announcements? Okay.
You always cover it so thoroughly.
Okay, sorry, I know. Well, okay, so we did that. So, Ossining Documentary and Discussion Series returns next week with Resilience, the Biology of Stress and the Science of Hope. Learn how toxic stress hormones born of childhood trauma can have long-lasting effects on the body's, brains, and even life outcomes of those children as they enter adulthood. This is a very, very important film. I haven't had a chance to see it. Scientists and researchers examine the science behind these effects and depend on cutting-edge science and therapy methods to fight back. This will be an interesting film, as will the panel discussion that follows, and this free event begins at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, October 18th in the Blue Dart Theater at the Ossining Public Library. You can find out more at ossiningdocumentaries.org. The library will be holding the Friends of the OPL annual book sale beginning on the 18th. Stop by between 1 and 9 p.m. that day and pick up some great books while supporting a great cause. Can't make it on Thursday? Stop by on Friday the 19th between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Saturday the 20th between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and Sunday the 21st between 1 and 4 p.m. You can find the Friends book sale in the main gallery on the ground floor of the library. The Maryknoll Fathers and Brothers will be screening the film Infinitely Polar Bear as part of their 2018-19 International Film Festival on Friday, October 19th at 7:30 p.m. The film is a 2014 American comedy drama written and directed by Maya Forbes. It deals with a manic depressive father trying to win back his wife by attempting to take full responsibility of their two young spirited daughters who don't make the overwhelming task any easier. The film festival provides 9 monthly offerings on Friday evenings from September to May. The current series Family includes an introduction by a Maryknoll missioner and a brief discussion after the screening. The screening will take place at 55 Ryder Road in Ossining. October 20th is another big day in Ossining. Start off the day with a quick run around town when you join the Ossining PBA for their Foot Pursuit 5K. I'm having a hard time with that one. Just saying it. It's a great title. The race starts in our very own Cedar Lane Park. I think I've mentioned it a few times tonight. Before heading on to the local roads, included with the price of registration is a beautiful view of the Hudson. If you are one of the first 3 finishers, you'll have to beat the chief, who spends his free time running, so this may be a challenge. You could win a 3-month membership to Club Fit and lots of other prizes. I know I made these same announcements last week, but since this is just coming up this week, I'm saying them all again. So enroll your family today. Visit the Ossining PBA Facebook page for a link to the registration site. All proceeds go to benefit a scholarship fund for Ossining children. Bethany Arts Community will host a Northeast Etsy Artists Collective Fall Artisan Market on Saturday, October 20th from 10 to 4, and Sunday the 21st from 12 to 5. Come get a head start on your holiday shopping while you, did I say that? Holiday shopping? I know it's not right? While you explore beautiful artisanal art, jewelry, home decor, pottery, and so much more. A percentage of sales will go towards supporting Bethany's mission to support artists' new work and develop programming for the Ossining community. BAC is located at 40 Somerstown Road, Route 133 in Ossining. Also on the 20th, the Ossining Historic Cemeteries Conservancy will be hosting a gravestone cleaning at Historic Sparta Cemetery on Revolutionary Road between 9 a.m. and 12 noon. No experience is necessary. Come on down, and the OHCC folks will show you what to do. I also happen to know that on Friday, Ossining Historical Society is having their annual dinner. I think that the deadline for RSVP was October 10th, but knowing the Historical Society, they're always happy to have a few more. And if you call over there and speak with Norm McDonald, you can still get on their list if you're interested in attending it. It's always a wonderful night, and they have wonderful silent auction items, and that's going to be at Travelers Rest this year. Again, it's this Friday, October 19th, and I'm thinking it starts at 6. Thank you. Back to Saturday the 20th, in case you hadn't had enough things to do yet. You have 4 chances to see live music right here in Ossining. You can see at Jug Tavern of Sparta, you can either see this wonderful group with Tim Rowell and Ambrose Bertabello performing banjo and fiddle music at 3 or 7 p.m. You do have to send an email to events@jugtavern.org to see if they have any tickets left. It's only $5, which is your suggested donation at the door, but it's a limited seating and it's a wonderful concert, and lots of people are going to be going to that. So if you are interested, please do take the time to email events@jugtavern.org. If you go to see them in the afternoon, you could still catch more music at Steamer Firehouse that evening. The Soulful Tunes of the Vibe Theory will be playing at 8 p.m. You can get your tickets at AustinArtsCouncil.org, or you can see Rhythm Rising perform some Latin jazz at the Elks Lodge, which is at 118 Croton Avenue, starting at 7:30 p.m. Or you can see jazz vocalist Alexis Cole at the Westchester Collaborative Theater. Doors open at 7 for a 7:30 show, and that's at wctheater.org. You really have a lot of options this week for music in Ossining. On Sunday, October 21st, Clearview School will be hosting their Fabulous at 50 benefit to celebrate half a century of service to the youth of our community. Join them in celebrating this anniversary in style at the Sleepy Hollow Country Club between 12 and 4 p.m. There may still be tickets available. Call 941-4653 for more information. The Greater Ossining Chamber of Commerce, in partnership with the League of Women Voters, will be hosting a very important night, a candidates forum, on Thursday, October 25th. You participating in that? Okay. Mayoral candidates and candidates running for the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees will be speaking at 7 p.m. I think it's candidates who have opponents. Okay. And that will be followed by the candidates running for State Assembly and State Senate at 8:15 p.m. That's what time those folks are going to hopefully start. Come hear what your current and hopeful representatives have to say about their plans for our community's future. The Ossining Public Library will be hosting. And as I mentioned a few things about Halloween earlier, there's also another wonderful event on Saturday, October 27th during the day, the 3rd annual Ossining Halloween Kids and Pet Parade on Upper Croton Avenue. Parade kicks off at 11 a.m. outside the Elks Lodge at 118 Croton Avenue and heads up to the Mike Risco Music School at 44 Croton Avenue. But the fun doesn't stop when the marching does. Stay for music, games, and prizes. Thanks to the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce Uptown Alliance for organizing this fun annual event for our little ones and our furry friends who also love strutting their stuff this time of year. If you don't like marching, no worries. The Austin Public Library will hold an adult pumpkin painting workshop at 12 p.m. Kids can come too, but pre-registration is required for everyone. Call James Trapasso at 941-2416, extension 327, or email him at jtrapasso, Trapasso, at WLSmail.org to sign up for this free activity. On Tuesday, October 30th, join the Galata House for the Halloween Bash at the Briarcliff Manor on Studio Hill. Come for the music, the buffet dinner, and the raffle. Stay for the costume contest. Tickets are $35 in advance, $40 at the door. The event runs from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Get your tickets at halloweenbash.briarcliffmanor.eventbrite.com. All proceeds help Galata House come to the assistance of local families in need of a helping hand. Finally, yes, it's true, I'm at the end of this list. On Monday, November 5th, the evening before election night, the Rotary Club of Austin will host their annual Byington Scholarship fundraiser, and this year it will take place at Bethany Arts Community on Somerstown Road. Help the Rotary to award scholarships to worthy students in our district while also cheering on the employees of the year from the town, village, school district, and our Austin community support organizations. Doors open at 6 p.m. Email George Camp at gc10562@yahoo.com to purchase your ticket. I'm going. Are you going to that? Okay, we're all going. And of course, don't forget Election Day on Tuesday, November 6th. Is that right? Correct. Tuesday, November 6th. At your regular polling places. Okay, fantastic. Guess what's next? We have our board resolutions. So we're going to go on to our board, unless, again, did I miss anything? Okay, I didn't miss anything. Briarcliff Fire Department inspection is on October 20th, and I'm sorry that I missed it. I know we did talk about it also at the last meeting. It's open to the public, and it starts at 7 p.m. Okay, so we hope that you'll take a chance to see the very shiny white fire trucks of the fire department in Briarcliff, and they do a wonderful job with their department, and we're very grateful for all of their assistance to the unincorporated town.
Board resolutions. A, resignation, Town Planning Board. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby accepts with regret the resignation of Town Planning Board member Mark Hoflick, effective October 8th, 2018.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We thank Mark for his service and his passion to the town and his help setting up the Architectural Review Board earlier on and his work on the Planning Board. Thank you.
Resolution B, temporary beer, wine, cider permit for Haunted Hayride, October 26th and 27th, 2018. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign the landlord authorization form for the New York State Liquor Authority for a temporary beer, wine, cider license for 6 Degrees of Separation Brewery, Austining, New York, who is in the process of filing an application to sell beer at the Forest of Fears Haunted Hayride in Cedar Lane Park on Friday, October 26th and Saturday, October 27th, 2018. And be it further resolved that the applicant will provide proof of insurance and a letter of indemnity to the town in form acceptable to council of the town.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, just to be clear, this will be a special section that is roped off. There will be limits to what the beer sales are to each person, and so that's it. Except for Councilwoman Feldman. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution C, adoption of a sexual harassment policy update. Whereas the Town of Austining has had a sexual harassment prevention policy in effect for many years and has also administered training in accordance with that policy on an annual basis. And whereas the State of New York has recently passed legislation requiring mandatory additions to this policy for all municipalities effective October 9th, 2018, and corresponding training to take place by October 9th, 2019. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby adopts, retroactive to October 9th, 2018, the quote, model sexual harassment policy for municipalities, close quote, as provided by Labor Council to the town and in accordance with the guidance provided by the New York State Division of Human Rights.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, so we're grateful to the state that they have adopted more stringent policies, and we will make sure to do our very best to make sure we are all up to speed on those new policies, and that is communicated to all of our staff in the timely fashion that is required by the state. All those, did I say all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Resolution D, contract Sustainable Westchester Recollect Software. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign an agreement with Sustainable Westchester, 55 Maple Avenue, Mount Kisco, New York, for the provision of Recollect software to aid with the production and maintenance of refuse and recycling schedules to be used for the unincorporated area of the Town of Austining. And be it further resolved that the contract is for a 2-year term beginning on October 2018 and will be billed to the town at a price not to exceed $1,700 per year for services outlined in the service agreement for waste and recycling communications platform for the Town of Austining.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We're hopeful that this new program offered to us by Sustainable Westchester will help us more easily service our residents on the unincorporated town with refuse and recycling communications platform. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution E, resignation, Town Zoning Board of Appeals. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby accepts with regret the resignation of Town Zoning Board of Appeals member Carolyn Stevens, effective October 16, 2018.
Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? I'm very grateful to Ms. Stevens for her service on the zoning board.
Resolution F, appointment, Town Planning Board. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining hereby appoints Carolyn Stevens, Austining, to the unexpired term of Mark Hoflick, effective October 17, 2018, and ending on December 31st, 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, so just a couple of words. We're very grateful again to Ms. Stevens for stepping up and serving, having served on the zoning board and doing an excellent job, and knowing that she has great knowledge of zoning and planning from her previous service in another municipality, Scarsdale. She was actually the mayor of Scarsdale, and also served on the committee. She worked with the housing monitor on the federal housing lawsuit with Westchester County to work on affordable housing, and she has a great understanding of sort of regional dynamic of housing, zoning, and planning, and we think she'll be a great asset to the planning board, and having a recent opening there. We are grateful for her stepping in. We will put out a public notice to fill the vacancy on the zoning board very soon. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And if I could just say, Carolyn was actually at the zoning board meeting last night, and after the meeting went upstairs with Sandy to get all of her planning board materials for the meeting tomorrow. So she's really diving in headfirst on this. So
Absolutely, and we have a very busy planning board and not as busy zoning board. So again, we're grateful that she's taken on the additional volunteer work.
Resolution G, Finance Capital Project Number 2018-5211, Reclamation and Paving Hawks Avenue. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining authorizes opening a 2018 capital project number 2018-5211 entitled Reclamation and Paving Hawks Avenue with a project budget of $135,000 for milling, prep work, cut-in joints, shimming around driveways, catch basins, paving in place, and layer of new paving. The project will be funded from CHIPS, EWR, PAVE, New York funds, and Highway Fund balance.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, so this is exciting. We're going to work on reclamation, paving in place for Hawks. We're not going to do the very last little piece of it because we have a development that's taking place there, and we don't want to put it in and then find that we have, unfortunately, not taken good enough care of it, our brand new paving. So that will be a future project, but we are confident that the worst parts of Hawks will be taken care of with this project, and we believe we're going to be able to save a great deal of money by doing the reclamation and paving in place. from our original price quotes that we had gotten that were just for full-out paving. Right down the block on Spring Valley Road, this is something that Town of Newcastle did, and it's holding up pretty darn well. And it looks great, so we're hoping that we can do the same on Hawks. And we have money, as mentioned, from our CHIPS money from and Pave New York funds and EWR, which I forget what it stands for, but these are all state-funded programs to help communities maintain their roads and infrastructure. So with very little additional money from our fund balance, we're going to be able to take care of this very well-traveled road. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And we're also hopeful that this can be done this fall. Thank you. With that, I would ask for an adjournment into executive session for discussion about personnel.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We look forward to seeing everybody next week at the courthouse, 8688 Spring Street, for a regular meeting. Have a great week, everybody, and if you can't figure out what to do on October 20th, I feel badly. Enjoy your week and your weekend.